Brother Matthew is with us. Sister Katie Susie is here producing the show. And obviously, Richard Allenson lurking in the background.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And taking the rap. Today's tale comes from Douglas. Thank you, Douglas, for tonight's confession on Greatest Hits. Dear Simon, Sister Katie Susie, and brother from another gutter, that'll be Matthew.
Yeah.
Let me take you way on back to 1987, when large hair, great music, and Sony Walkman ruled the way. Okay, very good. Me and my now ex-wife, though I have to say this confession has nothing to do with that, we're very happy, brand new parents to a bouncing baby boy called Mark. We took him home and were excited to show him off to anyone who came over or stopped us in the street when out pushing the pram. This was a happy time for us. Then Mark decided he was not going to be well anymore. Don't worry, he's fine. But we had to head to our local children's hospital, where the nurses and doctors decided what was wrong with him. For 4 days, the routine would be arrive in hospital at 8 o'clock, take over from my wife, who'd been there all night. She would go off and grab some sleep and come back later in the afternoon, and we would sit together until it was time for me to leave. On the 4th day of this, there was much chatter, excited chatter on the wards, and much excitement. Nurses were giggling, and obviously something was going on. It was revealed that a national radio DJ was to come on a whistle-stop tour of the hospital. But we must keep it a secret, one nurse whispered to me, which, looking back, in the room, it was just said to me and my son, who I'm sure wouldn't say anything, so that seemed to be unnecessary, really. Anyway, the happy day arrived, and I had, at this time, arrived on the ward. At some point, my wife needed to go to the toilet and left. Then, while she was gone, 2 guys and a hospital representative entered the room. They introduced me and asked after my son. 2 minutes later, they'd gone. My wife then came back to the room and we settled down for the rest of the day. We were due to see our son's doctor to discuss what they'd found. Some hours had passed and then my wife said, "Well, it was a lot of fuss about nothing, wasn't it?" "What do you mean?" I replied. "Well, all the nurses were excited waiting for the radio DJ to come and he hasn't bothered to come." "Oh, well, he has. You missed him. Sorry, you were in the toilet." A look of thunder came across my wife. "Well, why didn't you come and get me?" she said. I had no answer that would have counted. "Who was it then?" she inquired, with that blistering look still lingering on her features. "Well," I said, "it was superstar DJ Noel Edmonds, the man from Crinkly Bottom." She was, "No way! What did he say? Did he hold us? And did he ask about Luke? What? I mean, did he ask about Mark?" Or Gladys.
Find and replace.
Or Brenda.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what I Oh dear. Thanks, Richard. You should have gone through these earlier.
Yeah.
She was like, "No." The look of thunder momentarily disappeared, but returned later, and I was saved by the doctor coming into the room. For the next 2 days, we concentrated on getting our son better, getting him an operation, and we had some family time. So family came round to see how we were, and my wife was more interested in telling anyone that she was in the toilet when superstar DJ Noel Edmonds visited us, and that I did not fetch her from the aforementioned cubicle. Conversation started like this: "Hello, how is Mark?" And the reply was, "Mark is fine. However, did you know I missed DJ Noel Edmonds because someone didn't come and fetch me from the toilet?" Over the years, this story would make an appearance most birthdays or when a large gathering of friends and family happened. The day my wife missed superstar DJ Noel Edmonds. As my son grew up and DJ Noel, now him off Deal or No Deal, developed, the story got told more and more. My son hit 16, and by this time his mates from school now had been told the story about how he'd had a visit from superstar DJ Noel Edmonds from Deal or No Deal, and how his mother had been in the loo. When my son hit 35 just recently, I'd forgotten this story until I was sent a photo. There was my son with a birthday cake, aged 35, in the shape of Mr. Blobby, and an iced figure of my son being held by Mr. Blobby. He was 35. So who am I seeking forgiveness from? My wife, for stupidly not rushing down 2 corridors, walking into the ladies' toilet to shout, "Hurry up, love, DJ Noel Edmonds is here. Don't forget to wash your hands."
Yeah.
No. My son for all the ridicule he endured throughout his life because of the story? No. Superstar DJ Noel Edmonds for not introducing him to my wife? No. I seek forgiveness for the DJ who it really was, as he was new and I had no clue who he was at the time. It was Simon Mayo.
Oh, there you go.
When faced with my wife and her face of thunder, the only DJ I could think of was Noel Edmonds. I couldn't remember this new bloke off the radio. Never heard of him. Anyway, I'm truly sorry, and please, 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 will you forgive me? Well, I guess I get a vote in this,
Well,
don't
you
I?
do,
absolutely.
yeah.
I don't know quite what I'm going to say. Anyway, let's go for the voice of responsibility. First of all, is Sister Katie Susie.
Well, I feel like Douglas, I really like my job and I really like working with Simon, so I have to say not forgiven, absolutely not. How could you not know who Simon was? Yeah, that's how I'm voting.
I remember this trip. We were in a thing. Radio 1 had a thing called. You remember the Popemobile?
Yes.
Well, they got a version of it and they called it the Popmobile.
Nice.
And they sent me, and I was I was very young.
So, but you were in the Popmobile
I was in the Popmobile, and then we'd stop in at various places around.
at the hospitals.
And at the hospital, yes, cheering
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
Cheering up everybody who'd never heard of me. Anyway, brother from another gutter.
Well, I mean, my rule is never to ever interrupt someone in the toilet because they're in the toilet, and I don't need to go into details, but you're not going to interrupt someone when they're in the middle of that.
No.
So, for that reason, I'm going to forgive because of that.
And as I clearly am involved in the story,
Yes.
I feel as though I should definitely say
Yes.
to Douglas, you
Yes.
are definitely forgiven, because I don't think anybody had a clue who I was, and I can only apologise for the incredible disappointment that it wasn't superstar DJ Noel Edmonds. But